Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned. Albino ranks every waifu in Fire Emblem Three Houses from worst to best. I have beaten every route in this game, logged in 200 plus hours with these ladies, watched them grow from young students, brimming with potential, to steadfast and determined adults fighting wars for the nation. I've talked with them, fought with them, shared meals with them, and killed most of them too. That wasn't fun. This video contains probably every story and character spoiler you could possibly think of, so watch at your own risk, starting from worst and working our way to best. Number 24, Sothis. I've never heard of a goddess being such a brat. I made the super unfortunate decision in my Blue Lions playthrough to marry her just to see what would happen, and she literally pops out of my body like, OMG, I've loved you this whole time. Yes, of course I'll marry you. And it's like, bitch, you've been MIA for the last 12 chapters. Why would I even give you a second thought? Why is marrying her an option? It's so weird. She goes from chiding me every chance she gets to being all over me like I'm a stuffed doll. Frankly, it's extremely uncomfortable, and I wished I could call upon her power to divine pulse that ring right back to my pocket. Number 23, Cornelia. Just disgusting. Cornelia wears her tits like a name tag. Hello, my name is not important. Look at these. Grammary? More like mammery, am I right? I don't mind some cleavage, but at some point you have to look at yourself and confirm that you are in fact wearing a top before you step outside into people's vision cones. Number 22, Monica/Kronia. Dude, fuck this traitorous bitch. You get betrayed by like 80 characters in this game, but this one really stings because of what she does. The way she stabs Geralt in the back like a coward and is only saved because Talus is onto our Divine Pulse shenanigans. It's funny how nobody likes her, even among her allies. Talus is quick to be like, yeah, the only reason we saved you was so they didn't discover our magical impersonation secrets, and the Flame Emperor says she's annoying, and then once you defeat her, Solone just rips her heart out for no reason. I heard a couple people say they thought she was hot, and I wanted to bash my head against the wall. Number 21, Lady Rhea. Lady Rhea, I will not allow another Red Canyon tragedy. Also, Lady Rhea, set the entire city of Ferdiad on fire and don't let the citizens evacuate. Lady Rhea's disposition is largely dependent on which route you take, but each path is sort of self-assured in regard to what you think of the entire conflict. Like, if you go against the Empire, Rhea is just this elegant, serene presence who can do no wrong, but if you side with the Empire, Rhea is this psycho, bloodthirsty lunatic hell-bent on revenge and the destruction of all who oppose her. Some of the information you're given, depending on the route, is conflicting anyway, so you just have to decide who you believe or assume the truth is somewhere in the middle. I don't believe Rhea is a squeaky clean leader, but I also think if you planted your mother's spirit inside a baby and then waited 20 years and then that baby betrayed you and declared war against you and took your mother's spirit away, that might understandably break somebody. Personally, I think the Blue Lions route is the most morally acceptable outcome of the war, although none of the routes make it out of there with clean hands. Anyway, Lady Rhea is meh when you're on her good side and a big old turnoff when you're not. Number 20, Judith. Judith is just ugly. Also, she's the hero of Daphne, but when you see her on the battlefield, her stats are horrible, and so is her equipment. A lord with a rapier and a heavy shield for no reason, who has like 18 attack speed as a result, and runs off to get killed at the first possible opportunity. She literally sucks, and there's no way around it. It's embarrassing. Claude would whoop her ass in one combat, but she talks down to him like he's a little kid. That battle in the Valley of Torment when Judith shows up and the Grey Lion enemy commander is like, whoa, the hero of Daphne, now this'll give me more of a challenge than these kids. I'm like, dude, I know you're 90 years old, but is your eyesight so far gone you can't see this chick's stats? Judith is a fake hero. Number 19, Lysithea. It's a real bummer to me that you don't get to use Lysithea or Randolph if you side with the Empire. I mean, they take Flayn and Catherine and Aloise away from you. They could at least give you some nifty replacements. You only get to fight alongside her in one battle, too, and it's an early one where she ain't even a Wyvern Rider yet. She's a Cavalier, and she makes it her mission to go get two-shot by a Gilbert with a tomahawk. Embarrassing. Walking through the monastery, one of the NPCs is talking about how Lysithea is renowned for her beauty. I'm like, I hope you aren't renowned for your honesty. Number 18, Manuela. Manuela is the personified embodiment of the word desperate. I don't like her at all. She's always complaining about not being able to find a man despite how perfect she is. And if you read her Where Are They Now segment at the end of the game, it says she never finds love except from the students at the new teaching place she built, which is a polite way of saying she dies alone. She's a drunken mess and a terrible unit to boot. Number 17, Catherine. If I had picked anyone in this game to be a lesbian, it would have been Catherine, but apparently not. The older people in this game are just not appealing. She's only like 30-something, but she feels like a grandmother. Her blind devotion to Lady Rhea is also annoying. She even follows through with the command to set Ferdy out on fire and kill all those civilians just to slow down the advance of the Empire army with barely so much as a, wait, are you serious, bro? She's a hack. She's happy to execute as many people as needed as long as Rhea gives the order, whether it's those civilians or Ash's brother. That kind of loyalty isn't admirable. Number 16, Anna. Neat cameo, but she barely talks and offers nothing to the story and isn't a playable unit, so meh. Number 15, Bernadetta. Don't get me wrong, Bernadetta is the funniest character in this game. Her supports are super entertaining, but all of that comes from quirks that would be very unpleasant to have to actually deal with. It's all justifiable given how she grew up and what she had to go through back home with her father, but the end result is still not great. I'd personally ship her with Ignatz. I think they'd be great together, so it's weird that they don't have supports with each other. They both love art and have no self-esteem. It's perfect. By the way, it's worth noting that everyone from here on out, including Bernadetta, is at least a mildly positively ranked waifu, so I have mostly or halfway positive feelings about them all, because damn, when it came to waifus, Fire Emblem Three Houses brought it! Number 14, Hilda. Hilda irks me. She is an absolute monster on the battlefield, but is lazy and tries so hard to be removed from play and getting others to fight for her instead. It's like the opposite of pretentious. She clearly has talent, but pretends she doesn't, and it's aggravating. And her reasoning behind it is the most Neanderthal angsty teen bullshit I've ever heard. Oh, if I never try, then I can't disappoint anyone. What a winning philosophy that is sure to endear you to everyone you meet. It's only in her later supports, when she overcomes this, that she becomes a halfway decently tolerable person, and by extension waifu. Number 13, Annette. I really like Annette, but the more I saw her supports, the more she started to get on my nerves a bit. Like, I don't mind the whole non-stop work thing and never slowing down, but the way she talks to some people is like obliviously condescending in this girlish, childlike way. I've seen her supports with Lysithea, and every time Lysithea asked a question, Annette would pet name her like, of course, silly. Like, it really bothered me. And I know that's just her personality, because she's also the type to like make up silly songs and sing them to herself, which I would skip through in the dialogue because God forbid I have to actually hear any of that shit vocalized. I like Annette as a character, but I think it's fitting that if you get an A rank with Gilbert, after the war is over, she just goes back to live with her family instead of marrying anyone. Number 12, Dorothea. Overrated. Yeah, I said it. Every loading screen, it's Dorothea this, Dorothea that, most deployed, Dorothea, most popular gift recipient, Dorothea. We get it. The Fire Emblem crowd loves Dorothea, despite the fact that her post-time skip design is massively inferior to her initial one. She looks way better younger. Her hair's better, I like her hat, and she's not as depressed in every monastery conversation you have with her. You walk up to her in Garreg Mach for the 30th time post-time skip and read a 30th variant of, man, it sucks that people die in war. Yeah, dude, turns out it does. Go write an opera about it. I had to marry her in my first Black Eagles route, because I made the mistake of picking female Byleth, who I like better as a character than male Byleth, but who has decidedly less women to choose from to marry. Dorothea be getting it wherever she can, baby. She is kind of a tramp, but I don't care about her that much, so I don't care. Number 11, Flayn. Flayn is innocent and mature, yet naive, yet refined, yet young, and she loves fish and lying about her father being her brother. I also murdered her with a silver lance recently and had to listen to Sedith absolutely lose his shit before I killed him too. Flayn! Flayn! No! Please! No! That Edelgard route is not pleasant. If I could only do one route, that would not be it. Also, the game cheated because Flayn never got that good of stats when I used her. She's always been a subpar unit, but here I am up against her having 60 attack somehow. Flayn didn't deserve that fate, though. She's literally done nothing wrong ever. The most pure soul in this game by a mile. I just see her more as like a daughter type of deal, even though she's like a 1,000-year-old saint or whatever. Number 10, Fletch. I prefer Fletch, to be honest. Fletch sounds nasty. I'm gonna call her Fletch from now on. So Fletch is Randolph's little sister, whom you only get to briefly speak to a handful of times in Edelgard's and Dimitri's routes. Of course, in Dimitri's route, she's a little bent out of shape over you torturing and executing her brother. I love how when she disguises herself as a common villager and tries to join the Kingdom Army with the intent of exacting revenge, the game literally just shows you her motives from the outset. Like, don't even try to hide it. Because we've already seen this Monica and Tomas and Edelgard and Hubert and Euritza shit go down. We're so desensitized by traitors at this point, we'd have just been like, oh, well, looks like someone else is about to get stabbed in the back. This game's like trust no bitch. But Fletch in the Empire route is just a nice girl who supports her brother and is weirdly calm when he ends up dying anyway, and she's just like, well, he left me a lot of responsibilities to look after. What, no vengeance plot this time? Join my damn army, I want to use you. She says she's a mage, I could use a 6th mage in my squad. Number 9, Shamir. Shamir is your typical cool, detached mercenary chick, and she plays that part well. It doesn't go much beyond that besides a vague story about a previous mercenary love she used to have who died, but Shamir is just a solid character archetype that's persistent because it works. Number 8, Edelgard. I've had time to cool off. When it was first revealed that Edelgard is the Flame Emperor, and I first found out, first of all, it blindsided me because I picked the Black Eagles first, so like I was around her the whole time, and that route does a much better job of not being obvious about that particular twist than other routes do. The Blue Lions one just spoon feeds it to you like you're an idiot. Oh, Dimitri gave a dagger to Edelgard when they were kids? Oh, the Flame Emperor was just carrying on a massively eavesdroppable conversation in the middle of the goddamn monastery for some reason, and upon being discovered, somehow dropped a dagger that Dimitri instantly recognized? Oh man, what could this mean? But dude, I hated Edelgard after that. I felt so betrayed, I was literally like, fuck Edelgard, I hate her. How could she deceive us like this and be allied with the people who killed my father? But so I waited to pass final judgment on her until I played her out for some context, and frankly, I am not satisfied. Her war is all about fighting authoritarian tyranny with authoritarian tyranny. She is no better than who she opposes, and her view of the church, while somewhat based on some inconvenient truths for Rhea, also distorts as many facts as it unearths, with many conflicts between the information discovered in Claude's route versus Edelgard's. So it's unfortunate, but as soon as she declared war on the church, it became necessary for her to die. Rhea's no angel, despite being a child of the goddess, so I'd actually go so far as to say it was extremely necessary for Edelgard to wage war, but also extremely necessary that she lose that war. Number 7, Byleth. Another nasty-ass name that only sounds androgynous because it's made up. Female Byleth is superior to male Byleth in every way, this is for sure. Rocks the blue hair better, and rocks the green hair much better. It seems like they had to design special armor to contain her boobies. They are actually gigantic for no reason, and when you look at her from the side while she has her arms straight out, they help her look like the letter F. I would have preferred her to be a real character like Robin in Awakening, who carried actual conversations rather than just silently emoting at random things like a retarded person, but that's just me. At least she's hot. Number 6, Mercedes. Mercedes is weird because she's unassuming and very concerned with other people's well-being and loves helping out, but she's also like kinda cocky. When she ups her weapon level, she's always like, I'm a natural, and you don't expect that from someone like her. I like it though. Good self-esteem is still my favorite quality in a person. Mercedes is layered, but it's not immediately apparent. She takes one of the worst hits in the design department when it comes to the time skip, though. She goes from this long-haired maiden to an old nun with a bob and a veil. I don't like it. She starts looking like she took a vow of celibacy, which would be devastating news to a lot of people. Number 5, Ingrid. Ingrid suffers from chronic unavailable syndrome, which always hurts people's places on a waifu ranking. Having lost her previous fiancé, Glenn, in the tragedy of Dusker, Ingrid is pretty stoic about it all, but you can tell deep down that to her, nobody can ever replace him. Unless you marry her, probably. I wasn't able to because that was the route I chose Sothis on a whim, so fuck me, I guess. But I did that because nobody in the Blue Lion house seems like they're meant for the main character. Mercedes is too good with Dimitri. Annette has to be with her father, not like be with, but you know what I mean. And Ingrid isn't meant for anyone. In the end credits, even though she had an A-rank support with every dude in the Blue Lions, she still ended up alone, with the narrator specifically mentioning that she never took a husband. For my Edelgard route, I recruited every recruitable character from every house so I wouldn't have to kill them, but some of them it's like, there's no circumstances in which you should think it's acceptable to fight for the Empire with me. And Ingrid is one of them. I just made her a traitor to her homeland when she had absolutely no reason to join me other than, but I'm the professor. There was a disconnect there for me with some of the characters, mostly ones from the Blue Lions. Like Felix makes a little sense because of his disdain for the boar's bloodthirsty nature, but everyone else is fully committed to the kingdom until I'm like, hey, here's 19 flowers, want to join my class and betray everything you've ever known? In another life, Ingrid could be a number 1 waifu, but her current life has been stained with loss and regret. Number 4, Marianne. Fun fact, Marianne is the only Three Houses character I've had a sex dream about. I was going down on her and she kept saying, "Taste the beast!" Gross. Marianne is one of the characters that it's most satisfying to see her growth as the game goes on, because she starts off as this perpetually repentant, shy, barely talking girl who never smiles, but post-time skip she becomes comfortable with who she is and her entire demeanor changes, and seeing her A rank with the professor almost brought a tear to my eye, because watching Marianne be happy is like the most satisfying thing these support conversations can offer. Marianne has the crest of the beast, which theoretically means she can take the form of a demonic beast at night and go slaughter villages while waking up with no memory of the events, though it's unconfirmed whether she's actually done that. In her paralogue, it turned out to be Maurice himself that was doing it, but that doesn't mean she can't be doing a little village raising on the sly. That'd be sorta tough to deal with, knowing your waifu is essentially a werewolf who could transform while you're sleeping and chomp you in half with no restraint, but her personality brings such joy that maybe it's worth it, you know? Number 3, Leonie. Nobody has benefited visually from 5 extra years in the oven more than Leonie. She went from looking like a little orphan boy asking for gruel to evolving into a hardy yet beautiful mercenary hero. Or more simply, she just grew her hair out, which is sometimes all it takes. She's a capable fighter, hunter, fisher, archer, trap setter, and Gerald's protege who took his death harder than we did because we can barely feel emotions. I actually ship her with Felix. It's a catch-22, because I recommend doing each of the main routes with just the members of that house so you can fully experience each character, but also recruiting everybody for my 4th run with the Empire allowed me to see a bunch of house mixing supports that you otherwise will never experience. This game just has way too much content, bro. After 200 hours, I'm still missing like 60% of the supports, and I ain't picking this game back up till the story DLC is added next April for my own sake. But yeah, Leonie and Felix's ending has them go off and become mercenaries together, which is cute. And then when the united peace of Fodlan is so present that they run out of work, they become street performers instead, which is fun to imagine. I just think Leonie is super underrated. Number 2, Lysithea. This was hard, but I did it. I'm a fan of Lysithea's no bullshit attitude when it comes to interacting with some of the other characters' persistent personality traits. She always sets the tone of the conversation and doesn't get bogged down by catering to anyone's quirks. She has a tendency to overreact and assume the worst of people's comments, but it's no fun being treated like a kid just because you're the younger than most of the rest of the students, especially when you consider how she must feel about how close her life is to being over anyway thanks to her twin crests. So you call Lysithea a kid, and she thinks that's all I'll ever be. She's one of the few people outside of the Black Eagles who it makes sense that she'd support Edelgard, though it's strange that she only does that if you recruit her, whereas Lorenz, for example, is always on the Empire's side. Because Edelgard wants to do away with nobility and crests, and Lysithea has a vested interest in preventing other people from being blood experimented on like she was, which turned her hair white. I wonder what her natural color was. Same thing happened to Edelgard, and she strikes me as a natural blonde. Black-haired Lysithea? Purple? Who knows? Lysithea has a weakness for cake, which me too. I would eat cake literally all day, and she would bake us cakes literally all day, so that's a damn good partnership right there. Also, post-time skip, she's 20 years old, so settle down. Not that it matters, because the laws of consent do not apply to pixels on a TV screen, lol. Number 1, Petra. Petra is best girl, the number 1 waifu of Fire Emblem Three Houses. It was close between her and Lysithea for me, but Petra edged her out just a little by having the single most charming and endearing quirk of anyone in the game, which is her not quite grasp of the language. It's perfect, because she understands language perfectly, except for idioms. Things like, "I'll lend you a hand," which lead to some humorous misunderstandings, and I literally never get tired of the way she talks. Like, it's not broken English, it's almost a better version of English that's trying too hard. Like how she says, "I will not misplace my heart," when she gets a bad level up, instead of "I will not lose heart." The original meaning is obscured by the word choice, but it sounds more proper regardless, and it's cute as hell. She goes from already being beautiful pre-time skip to just drop-dead gorgeous in her new cultural outfit. It's actually ridiculous and unfair to all the other waifus. As the soon-to-be ruler of a historically underserved and inadequately recognized nation, Petra carries her entire homeland on her shoulders and works tirelessly to achieve equality with her neighboring kingdoms. She is truly admirable. And that's gonna do it for this waifu ranking. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out my other ones if you like, or peruse my channel for whatever strikes your fancy. I'll be making more Three Houses videos soon, because I can't shut up about this game. Like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Sunburned Albino, and I'll see you guys next time.